As I mentioned in the previous unit, we're going to be working on a sample application throughout this course. The idea behind it is pretty simple. We're a rooftop solar power utility called Redis Solar. We install solar panels on the roofs of homes and businesses. Each solar installation is called a site, and each site has a power meter. The meter reports how much energy each solar installation is using and generating on a minute-by-minute basis. We're building the app that ingests and displays this data. Here's what the app looks like on the front end. You can see that we have a map of our solar sites. There's also a search bar that allows us to find the sites closest to an address. For each site, we can view recent energy data. Here's a chart showing the number of watt-hours generated and used per minute. We can also see which sites have the greatest and least capacity. When you first download the project and run it, you won't see all of these features. That's because you'll be writing the code to enable them. More on that later. The front end that you're seeing is written in V02.js. This really helps to visualize the data that's in Redis, but the front end is not a focus of the course. It's already built for you and you won't need to touch it. Still, if you want to look at the code, you can find it in the front end folder in the example project. On the back end, of course, we have a Python app. This is what connects to Redis and powers the API requests sent by the front end. For example, just for fun, here I'm using Postman, a graphical API testing tool, to run one of these requests. This request gets a list of all solar site installations. You can see the URL I'm hitting here, and you can see the list of responses here. If you want, you can just as easily use curl, perhaps with JQ, to examine requests. But know that there's no requirement that you be able to examine HTTP requests to complete this course. Still, it's good to know that this is an option. Now here's the code for the backend. You can see that the code lives in a package called RU102PY. The sub-packages you'll be working with most are models, DAO, and API. This backend REST API is written using Flask, a popular Python web framework. Just like with Vue.js, you don't need to know Flask to complete the programming challenges. Most of the code you'll write will live in the DAO package. You do need to know how to load the sample data and run the app. There will be more detailed setup instructions on this in the next unit, but here's a quick overview. First, I edit my config file and ensure that it's pointing to my Redis instance. Next, I run the tests. Then I run the load script, like so. And I start the server. Finally, the moment of truth. I open a browser and point to port 8081 on localhost. You'll want to make sure you can perform all of these steps before you start the course. Again, detailed instructions on how to do so can be found after this video. If you have any trouble, stop by the course forum and let us know what's up. We promise to get back to you quickly. For now, check out the setup instructions that come next and get the app running. We'll see you next at Hello Redis Pi.